A single father named Mark rushed into the hospital with his little boy, Ethan, cradled tightly in his arms. The boy's breathing was shallow, his small chest rising and falling with painful effort. Mark's heart hammered as he ran past the sliding doors, begging someone, anyone, to help his son. Nurses rushed forward, doctors gathered, alarms echoed through the hallway. But nothing could pull Mark's eyes away from the one doctor who stepped into the room and froze. Because she wasn't just any doctor. She was someone from his past, someone he never thought he'd see again. And as she recognized him, her hands shook, and tears formed in her eyes. What happened between them, and what happened next, would change all their lives forever. Before we begin this emotional journey, if you enjoy real stories of compassion, courage, and second chances, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Diaries. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Your support helps us bring more inspiring kindness stories to the war. Mark wasn't the kind of man who panicked easily. He was a single dad, a mechanic by trade, and someone who'd learned to survive storms most people never saw coming. But nothing in his life scared him the way Ethan's sudden illness did. One moment Ethan was laughing on the living room floor, building towers with his toy cars. The next, he was clutching his chest, struggling to breathe, and whispering, "Daddy, it hurts." Mark carried him to the car, talking softly the whole drive, trying to stay calm even though his hands were shaking. "You're okay, buddy. Daddy's right here. I'm not going anywhere." When they reached the hospital, Mark expected a stranger to walk in, some doctor he'd never met, someone who would examine Ethan with professional calm. But life has a way of bringing people back when you least expect it. Dr. Anna Reynolds stepped into the room holding a chart, her face focused, her expression steady. But the moment her eyes fell on Mark, the color drained from her face. She took a small step back, almost stumbling. Mark stared at her, stunned. "Anna," he whispered, barely believing what he was seeing. Because Anna Reynolds wasn't just a doctor. Once, years ago, she was the woman Mark had planned to marry. They had been young and hopeful, building dreams together, until life tore them apart. Anna came from a wealthy family who didn't approve of Mark, and in the end, she left without explanation. Mark moved on, eventually becoming a father on his own when Ethan's mother died shortly after childbirth. Anna was his past, a past he'd buried long ago, but today, she stood only feet away from him, trembling. "Mark," she breathed, her voice cracking. "I didn't know it was you." He didn't have time to deal with the emotions. "Please," he said urgently, pointing at Ethan, "help my son." The shift was immediate. Anna's heartbreak turned to determination. She hurried to Ethan's side, checking his breathing, adjusting the oxygen mask, and giving orders to the nurses. Her hands moved quickly but carefully, with a gentleness that surprised Mark. For a moment, he saw the woman he had loved long ago, the woman with kindness in her eyes. "His oxygen levels are low," Anna said softly. "But we're going to take care of him. I promise." Mark nodded, but fear clawed inside him. He held Ethan's hand as the boy winced in pain. A second doctor entered the room, watching from behind as Anna worked. The team moved efficiently, running tests, stabilizing the child, and preparing him for an X-ray. As they stepped out to examine the results, Mark leaned against the wall, exhausted. Anna approached him slowly, holding Ethan's chart. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "Mark, I'm so sorry we're meeting again like this," she whispered. He didn't respond. He didn't trust himself to. Anna swallowed, then gently said, "Ethan's condition looks like a severe respiratory infection. He's stable now, but we need to monitor him closely. He's strong, though. Just like his father." Mark finally met her eyes, and for the first time since she walked in, he saw real emotion there, not the practiced calm of a doctor, but the vulnerability of someone who still cared deeply. "Why did you leave?" he asked, the question slipping out before he could stop it. Anna closed her eyes. "My father gave me a choice," she said quietly. "Leave you, or lose the chance to finish medical school. I was young. Scared. I made the wrong choice. And I regretted it every day." Mark felt something heavy shift inside him. Anger, sadness, loss. All tangled together. "But you didn't come back," he said gently. "Wanted to," Anna whispered. "But when I finally had the courage. I heard you had a newborn son. I thought you'd found someone better. I didn't want to interfere." Mark's chest tightened. "Ethan's mother passed away. I've raised him alone." A tear rolled down Anna's cheek. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that pain. Before Mark could respond, a nurse opened the door. Doctor. Ethan's asking for you. Both turned at the same time. He wants the doctor who held his hand, the nurse added. Mark looked at Anna. And to his surprise, he saw a softness there, a kindness he remembered from long ago, shining brighter now, matured by years and regret. Anna walked into the room quietly, kneeling beside Ethan's bed. Hey, little guy, she whispered. You scared us. Ethan blinked up at her through groggy eyes. You, help me breathe, he murmured. Anna smiled. I'll keep helping you. I'm right here. Mark watched from the doorway, something warm stirring in his heart. Ethan reached out with his tiny hand, and Anna held it gently. It was the first time in years Mark felt like he wasn't carrying the weight of the world alone. Over the next hours, Anna stayed close. Checking Ethan. Talking to him. Making him laugh. And through it all, Mark felt walls inside him slowly crumble. When morning came, Ethan was finally sitting up, smiling again. His fever had dropped, his breathing was better, and color had returned to his cheeks. Anna approached Mark with a relieved smile. He's going to be okay, she said. He's a fighter, you saved him, Mark replied. Thank you. Anna shook her head. No. I just did my job. But I'm glad it brought me back to you. Silence filled the room, not awkward, but warm, like a wound finally starting to heal. Mark took a slow breath. Maybe this happened for a reason, he said softly. Anna's eyes brightened with hope. I'd like to be